You won't believe how LeBron James bends the rules of reality. He's naturally left-handed but shoots right-handed. He scored 17 touchdowns in just 6 football games as a kid and became a billionaire while still dominating the court. He doesn't just play basketball, he makes legends look small. Wait until you see the #1 moment where LeBron literally dunked over a superstar. You won't see it coming. We're starting with Boston because that's where LeBron spent years reminding people that legends can bleed too. And Paul Pierce just happened to be the volunteer. Let's rewind. February 15th, 2006. Cleveland versus Boston. Double overtime. One of those games that refuses to end. Paul Pierce goes nuclear, drops 50 points, rebounds and assists stacked on top. And for a moment it feels like his night. Then LeBron looks at the box score, decides that's cute, and answers with 43 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists, and 4 blocks. Because apparently a triple-double wasn't enough. It became the highest scoring duel they ever had, and it ended with LeBron owning the second overtime, while Pierce ran out of gas. A recurring theme, by the way. Fast forward 2010 playoffs, Game 6. LeBron's last night as a Cavalier. Individually, he cooked. 27 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists. Pierce, 13, 5, and 3. On paper, that's not a rivalry, that's a math problem. Boston won because of the supporting cast, not because Pierce outplayed LeBron. And that loss pushed LeBron straight into free agency, which somehow made the entire league nervous for the next decade. But this wasn't just basketball, it was personal. Back in 2004 preseason, Pierce shook young LeBron with a crossover, talked his trash, and then watched LeBron strip the ball, dunk it, and job back until they both caught techs. Pierce took it further, yelling, spitting toward the Cavs bench, getting fined, and nearly fighting LeBron in the hallway like this was WWE tryouts. Even years later, Pierce was still testing him, like that fast break foul where LeBron had to tell his own mom to chill, because Pierce was doing Pierce things and somehow avoiding a flagrant. Through all of it, the pattern stayed the same. Pierce poked the bear, LeBron responded, and the legend on the other side usually looked a little smaller by the final buzzer. We're heading out west now, because this is where DeMar DeRozan keeps running into the same problem. LeBron James refusing to age like a normal human. Start with December 28, 2025, Lakers at Kings, and this one gets ugly fast. Luka comes out breathing fire, 24 in the first half, and then LeBron casually drops 24 of his own on 84% shooting, like he's testing a new jumper in warm-ups. Sacramento's on a back-to-back, tired legs, sloppy passes. And suddenly those 19 turnovers turn into Lakers layup lines. DeMar leads the Kings with 22, which looks respectable until you realize the Lakers are up 26, and Doug Christie's post-game quotes sound like a disappointed dad. The Kings shoot 28% from 3, LeBron throwing reverse dunks in transition, and the game's over somewhere in the third quarter, even though the clock keeps running. Now rewind, October 26, 2024. Same teams, tighter game, way more drama. The Kings actually show up. DeMar drops 23, Fox and Sabonis go nuclear. It feels like Sacramento might finally flip the script. Then the fourth quarter starts and LeBron decides this needs to end immediately. The Lakers rip off a 21-0 run. LeBron scores 16 of those points himself. Crypto.com Arena turns into a countdown clock. He finishes with 32, 14, and 10. Because apparently triple-doubles are just his way of saying goodnight. DeMar plays well. Sabonis gets his numbers, but none of it matters once LeBron hits the switch, and that's the pattern. One night it's domination by efficiency, the next a takeover run that erases legends in real time. Keep watching, because this wasn't the last time LeBron turned a respected scorer into a footnote. We're in Cleveland, Game 3, 2018 playoffs. Toronto finally decides they're done being pushed around. Kyle Lowry is scrapping, pulling LeBron to the floor, barking, scoring, actually looking like a guy who refuses to go quietly. He drops 27, 15 in the fourth, and for a few minutes it feels like the Raptors might steal one. That feeling lasts right up until LeBron decides the movie needs a brutal ending. Toronto comes back from down 14 in the fourth, hits everything, crashes the glass. OG Anunoby ties it with a 3, 8.8 seconds left. The arena goes silent. Raptors are chest bumping. Lowry's thinking, this is it. Then Tyronn Lue doesn't even advance the ball. Looks insane until you realize it's genius. Clear the runway, give LeBron space, let chaos sort itself out. LeBron catches it, sprints coast to coast like rent is due, shrugs off the trap. Now it's just him and the basket. Lowry stays glued. CJ Miles won't help off Korver. LeBron launches a one-footed, wrong-footed, body-facing the crowd floater. Banks it in. Game over. Series basically over. Raptors emotionally evacuated. Lowry played hard, played smart, did everything right, which somehow made it worse because LeBron still finished with 38, 7, 6, and 3 steals. His 9th straight playoff win over Toronto. Effort doesn't beat inevitability. Casey compared it to running into Jordan, which tells you everything without telling you anything nice. Box score calls it a 10-foot driving shot, which is hilarious because that thing was a circus act wrapped in a dagger. LeBron said he practices that shot messing around, which is basketball speak for "I was born for this." Raptors fans watched their season end in real time, and Kyle Lowry learned against LeBron. Close games just mean the ending hurts more. Now, let's talk about the times LeBron James decided to remind Jimmy Butler exactly who built the house he's trying to live in. First, 2020 Finals Game 5. Jimmy Butler was heroic, 35 points, triple-double. Played almost the entire game, he broke records. First player ever with 35 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 5 steals in a Finals game. Incredible! But here's the problem. He was doing it against LeBron. While Butler was exhausting himself, LeBron was cruising with 40 points on just 21 shots. The Lakers lost, but LeBron's stat line was a quiet demolition project. Butler had to guard LeBron and AD on defense, carry the entire Heat offense, and LeBron just kept coming. Final possession, LeBron drives, draws 3 defenders including Butler, and finds Danny Green wide open. Green misses, but the panic, that was all LeBron. Butler's legendary performance, it was just to survive LeBron for one more game. Fast forward, 2023, Cavs versus Timberwolves. LeBron gets petty. Game on the line, Butler drives, and out of nowhere LeBron comes flying in for the chase down block. Classic. Next play, LeBron takes Butler one-on-one and hits the game winner right over him. 2-part tutorial. First, I erase your shot, then I score on you to win. No triple-double needed, just pure disrespectful clutch dominance. Now, rewind. 2014 playoffs, Heat versus Bulls. Jimmy Butler, the rising two-way star. LeBron's response? He put the clamps on the entire Bulls franchise. Closeout, Game 4. LeBron drops 27. Holds Butler to 12. Heat holds Chicago to 65 total points. The Bulls shoot 25% from the field. Nate Robinson goes 0 for 12. LeBron wasn't just beating Butler, he was sending a message that Butler's rise would have to wait. He shut down the hype and made Butler and his team look amateur hour. The pattern? Brutal. Butler fights for historic stats just to get a win. LeBron responds with effortless 40s, chase downs, game winners, or complete series shutdowns. That's the difference between being great and being the guy who defines greatness. You know what's funny? We talk about Carmelo Anthony as a scoring legend, but his entire career is a highlight reel of what happens when you share an era with LeBron James. Let's start with the classic 2010 overtime duel. Everyone remembers it as a Melo win. He hit the clutch jumper, got the W. But hold on. LeBron's line, 43 points, 15 assists, 13 rebounds. He did everything. Melo dropped 40. Incredible, but he had no obligation to run the offense or create for others. LeBron was the entire Cavs engine. He still forced OT with 3 and an and 1. Melo won the battle, but LeBron was already playing a completely different game. It was a preview. Melo could win a shootout, but LeBron was mastering the whole chessboard. Fast forward to 2016, now the legend gap, a canyon. Melo's in New York, fighting just to make the playoffs relevant. LeBron carrying the Cavs from down 3-1 to an NBA championship. Their MSG duels were fun, but meaningless in the grand scheme. LeBron was defining his legacy in June. Melo was putting up highlights in March. The duel, completely lopsided. LeBron made Melo's superstar status look small, but redefining what a superstar actually has to do, win when it matters. And finally, by 2019, the story is just sad in a nostalgic way. They're both old, on new teams, and the Lakers blast the Blazers. LeBron drops 31, 8, 7. effortlessly. Melo manages 15 points. When they guarded each other, LeBron shot 2 for 3 on Melo. Melo went 0 for 2 on LeBron. The head-to-head record, LeBron now leads 20-14 in the regular season, averaging more points, rebounds, and assists. But here's the real danger. The article points out LeBron has been to 9 finals and won 3 chips by then. Melo's teams never even got past the conference finals. They came in as equals in 2003, but LeBron's career completely dwarfed Melo's. Their dinner conversations are probably Melo asking, "So, what's the finals pressure like?" while LeBron just sips his wine. So the whole narrative of a great rivalry is a myth. LeBron dominated the history, the stats, the rings, and even the late-stage matchups. Melo was a brilliant scorer, but next to LeBron, he just looked like a specialist in a one-man league. Kevin Garnett, the ultimate intense competitor, and how LeBron James turned that intensity into a personal highlight reel. First, you gotta start with the 2008 playoffs. The famous no regard for human life dunk. This is the moment that defines their entire dynamic. KG, the defensive player of the year, the heart of the Celtics' new big three, is standing in the paint. LeBron drives, gets a shove from Garnett midair, and still windmills a dunk right over him. The Celtics won that series, but LeBron won forever by making the league's most fearsome defender a poster. And LeBron himself ranked in a top 5 dunk ever, casually remembering it as, "Oh, you mean the dunk when KG shoved me and I didn't get the call?" That's the ultimate disrespect, turning a legend's best defensive effort into a personal trophy. But that dunk wasn't a fluke. It was a symbol of that entire 2008 semifinal series. Look at Game 4. The Cavs leveled the series, and LeBron, while in a shooting slump, still controlled everything. 21 points, 13 assists. He put the clamps on the Celtics' big three, holding them to terrible shooting. Meanwhile, Garnett's mission was to finally reach a conference final. LeBron, already a finals veteran, was just another roadblock. LeBron dominated the game's narrative, using that dunk as an exclamation point to show KG that his defensive intensity wasn't enough to stop the freight train. And this lives rent-free in KG's head forever. Which brings us to the funniest part, Garnett's lasting bitterness. Years later, KG on a podcast blaming LeBron for ruining the All-Star tradition, because he passed instead of taking Kobe's one-on-one challenge in 2012. Think about that. LeBron dominated him so thoroughly on the court that KG's biggest critique is about a pass in an exhibition game. Garnett's fuming. He effed the whole tradition up, while LeBron's just adding more finals appearances. It's the perfect example of how LeBron made a legend look small, not just with physical plays, but by living in his head for over a decade. KG's legacy is intensity. LeBron's is historic dominance, and one clearly bothers the other way more. Draymond Green, the ultimate agitator, and how his entire legacy is haunted by the man he tried to stop, LeBron James. First, you gotta go back to the 2016 finals. Draymond was the emotional engine of that 73-win Warriors team, but LeBron forced him into a critical error. After their infamous physical clash in Game 4, Draymond accumulated that one final flagrant foul and got suspended for Game 5. The entire basketball world knows that suspension shifted the series. LeBron and Kyrie each dropped 41 points in that game to keep the Cavs alive. So while Draymond is a legendary defender, his most famous playoff moment is being absent because LeBron pushed him over the edge. The Cavs completed the 3-1 comeback. And Draymond's greatest season ended with him watching LeBron's iconic block in Game 7 from the bench. He was a spectator to his own nightmare. Now, fast forward to 2025, LeBron is 40 years old. Draymond is still Draymond. And in a regular season game last February, LeBron dropped 42 points, 17 rebounds, and 8 assists on the Warriors. He hit 3 threes in 38 seconds, including a 34-footer to blow the game open. At 40, LeBron was putting up numbers only Michael Jordan had at that age. While Draymond could only contribute 13 points in a losing effort, this is the ongoing punishment. LeBron's career arc is so long that he gets to dominate Draymond in their primes and then embarrass him again as a senior citizen. Draymond's intensity is timeless, but LeBron's greatness is ageless. Ultimately, their entire history is defined by 2016. Draymond's suspension, triggered by tangling with LeBron, created the opening. LeBron seized it with one of the greatest finals performances ever. leading both teams in every major statistical category. The Cleveland "this is for you" moment happened directly over Draymond and the Warriors. Russell Westbrook, a player built on relentless athletic fury, and how LeBron James has consistently framed that energy as ultimately secondary to his own brand of controlled dominance. The story starts where many do, the 2012 NBA Finals. Westbrook announces himself on the biggest stage with a 43-point performance in Game 4, a legendary stat line, the kind that defines a player's career. But the final score was the only stat that mattered. LeBron's Heat won. LeBron, battling cramps, still put up 26 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds, leading a 17-point comeback to essentially seal the series. This is the blueprint. Westbrook could have his explosive highlight reel night, but LeBron mastered the game's flow, ensuring his team's victory was the lasting headline. Westbrook's brilliance became a sidebar in LeBron's first championship narrative. Now, fast forward to 2020, their playoff showdown when Westbrook was with the Rockets. This is where LeBron moved from outsmarting Russ to physically embarrassing him. He delivered two of the most disrespectful plays you'll see. First, the grown man dunk. LeBron just bulldozed through Westbrook in the paint like a freight train hitting a scooter. Then the pièce de résistance, the chase down block. Westbrook thought he had a clear path for a layup. LeBron swooped in and smacked the ball so far out of bounds it needed a passport. For a player whose entire legend is built on explosive athleticism, being posterized and erased by a 35-year-old LeBron in the same series is the ultimate humiliation. It was a stark physical reminder of the hierarchy. But the most fascinating chapter came when they became Lakers teammates. The power dynamic didn't change, it just got weirder. Their best moment? An incredible alley-oop where Westbrook midair had to make the unselfish pass back to LeBron for the finish. Even in cooperation, LeBron was the finisher, the alpha. And then there was the incident where Westbrook took a shot to the head, bleeding everywhere. Who rushed in? LeBron, playing peacemaker, holding a towel to the cut, pulling him away like a disappointed father. The imagery was perfect. LeBron once again was in charge of managing Westbrook's chaos. From opponent to teammate, LeBron's role stayed the same. The controlling force, making Westbrook's legendary intensity look unrefined, and sometimes unnecessary. What you've seen here isn't just a highlight reel, it's a trend. Different eras, different teams, different stars, but the result stays the same. Because LeBron doesn't just face legends, he measures them. Pierce, DeMar, Lowry, Jimmy. All great players in their own right, yet when the moment gets heavy, LeBron gets clearer. If this breakdown changed how you look at any of these matchups, drop your thoughts in the comments and tell me which moment hit the hardest. If you want more stories like this, make sure you subscribe, because this list isn't finished, and the next name might surprise you.